exactly does that include? Is that all site specific or is it project specific?
It has to address the treatment plant and its compliance with state law and our permits.
So it doesn't have anything to do with office space? It has nothing to do?
It does, to the extent that it can cover costs related to operational space. It won't cover costs related to administration space. So it wouldn't cover the cost of a boardroom or admin offices or anything like that, but it can cover shop space, shower space, operator space.
So then the building that you were going to build aside from operator space would have been is on the district's dime?
If it were to be built, part of it would be paid for by the district.
Part of it, but just omitting what you just listed.
Right. Which is, in that building, is about probably 30% of it. So, and the boardroom is probably another 30%, and the other admin space is probably 30%. But as I've stated probably 100 times at this point, that building will only be built if it's paid for through the grant. So it's not likely that it's going to be paid for, especially given that the state has changed how it funds projects.
Okay, so the answer would be no.
So the answer, I guess the answer is that we would have to pay for a building on our own. So you can build it wherever you want. But if you build a building out on new property, then you have to buy the property too.
Right. Okay.
So is that another discussion item that we want to have on here?
Well, number 20, right?
Would be item number 20, right?
Number 20 is, yeah.
Yes, it's already on there. So number 20.
We got you on there, Davis.
Okay, so move that to the following meeting after we...
Yeah, I don't think it has to jump ahead of anything. It's something that we should know that as being part of the discussion of moving
So of the seven items, Kelly, we've
admin
listed that we've set our priority.
meeting.
Pardon me?
Is that like 7 items that we've claimed or?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah.
Okay, and we could do 2 or 3 per meeting. Obviously, starting with October.
That's not bad.
Or September, I guess this is August. So you can list these in the order unless it's relevant to a specific month, like the fire code.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we grouped landscaping, we grouped tree lighting, grouped fireworks. We grouped.
I think that's a good start myself.
I agree.
I think we should come back to this when we start running out of things to talk about.
I don't think we'll ever run out of things.
I'm okay with that. If we prioritize this, we've got things for the next few meetings.
Yeah.
And we can bring that back. And there might be some other things we want to talk about to add to the list, unfortunately.
Nature of the business.
That happens.
Well,
You guys good with that, or you have other thoughts?
no, yeah, I'm good with it, but I got a question. I don't know if it would refer to the, well, yeah, it would refer to the treatment plant. Us accepting all the sewage from the whole county.
So that's under sewage, septic receiving.
Yeah.
We're not accepting all of it, and we're only accepting part of it. So that's already on there. So it's going to be coming back as soon as there's space.
Okay, and then what I don't see on here is we're talking about accepting hazardous waste.
That's literally the next item after septic receiving that we talked about just a minute ago, talking about bringing it back as soon as we had information from IWMA on what they're going to do.
35.
All right, okay.
So it's number 34 and 35 on the list.
Just curious.
Okay. So is everybody good to move on?
So we need public comment.
Oh, sorry, yes. Done on the board? All right. Any public comment on this item?
I think so.
Real quick, are there any clear present dangers about anything that you're talking about? For instance, I'll just bring up the sewer plant issue. Is there an ongoing hazard right now for employees that needs to be addressed immediately because it's an emergency?
I don't know enough about it.
That's what I'm getting at. Something that needs to be investigated. Scott, you're an emergency guy. If you had something that looked like it was an emergency immediately, how would you proceed?
I'm not going to speak to that.
Okay.
I don't want to speak out of turn.
Oh, I'm sorry, that's true. Okay, well, that's the question is, if any of these items are urgent enough to cause harm to the district, what's the immediate action for that? And I would look right at that sewer plant one and say, look at it, if somebody thinks that the employees are being contaminated right now by the breathing, if they think that the citizens are being contaminated by the breathing when they go into the plant, what's the immediate action for that? I don't know, so that's my question.
I wouldn't put it here in the first place. Sorry about that.
And it is a penny.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there any other public comment? No. Then we will move on. Okay, item number 2, approve a not-to-exceed proposal with Sheeple Engineering for engineering consulting services in an amount of $44,100 from the Shawnee Wastewater Treatment Facility percolation pond evaluation and mitigation, including related budget adjustments by resolution 2025-36.
So this item is to approve a contract, a not-to-exceed contract with Sheeple Engineering to assist in determination of what can and what needs to be done to improve percolation of the other 2 percolation ponds, ponds 1 and 3. As the board's aware, we took emergency action to repair pond 2, which is working considerably better. But in order to fully vet out all our options for ponds 1 and 3 and to ensure that future percolation ponds are built in a fashion that's going to last them 40 plus years, we're proposing a contract with Sheeple Engineering, who is very well versed in this type of activity, and most notably is currently finishing up helping the city of Atascadero with the exact same thing. So as described, they have we're proposing a not to exceed agreement for $4,100. This is essentially a time and material not to exceed. In discussion with him, there's a lot that the district can do, or district staff can do, and provide information to him so that it's not extra hours on his time. So the overall end result could be considerably lower costs with that maximum $44,100. Basically, we'd be providing pothole information, ongoing ongoing pond level monitoring. We provide labor for any on-site investigation that he needed to do as part of this overall information gathering. He would provide the engineering analysis of the soils sampling, of the percolation rates, and provide the lab for doing soils analysis as part of this proposal. He suggested it's going to take 2 to 3 months. Obviously, the more time we have, the longer, or the more information we'll have as far as percolation rates go, especially as we get into the rainy season. But at the same time, we don't have a ton of time because we get into the rainy season and we haven't done anything, then we really kind of shot ourselves in the foot. So again, this is to provide information on the next steps for percolation ponds 1 and 3, to provide mitigation for those 2 ponds, and to provide input for the future percolation ponds.
So this will provide tangible benefit to the ponds in their current state, or the current plant, but will also be a benefit for the new upgraded plant. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, the information that's gathered and the remediation that takes place for ponds 1 and 3 will be used to help design the ponds for the 3 future percolation ponds.
Okay. Are they performing any engineering services, or is it literally just consulting and testing?
So they're providing testing, but he is providing engineering services to analyze the percolation rates, analyze the soil types, and provide a recommendation on the construction to take place. He won't be providing construction plans, but will be providing the recommendation for what to do
For the new ponds?
for the existing ponds and new ponds.
Okay.
Okay, I got a question. Okay, we refurbished pond number 2, correct?
Yes.
Okay, were they involved in engineering that, or did, Viberg did it, right? Cost $140,000.
Yeah, Viborg performed the work.
Yeah, right. But I mean, was that engineered, or did you just go ahead and do it?
So we don't have a lot of data, or did not have a lot of data to provide a full formal analysis and engineering. What was done was based on other work done in the area and other work done on other ponds that was successful.
Right.
So that's what was used to mitigate that pond.
Yeah, 'cause they came in and knocked it out pretty quick.
They are quick.
Yeah. But like 1 and 3, now is this 40,000, is that for the 2 ponds that are existing there that need to be redone, and does it include the 3 new ponds that you figure out putting in?
So the analysis that will be done on the 2 ponds. Well, analysis will be done on all 3 ponds.
Right,
The one we fixed and the other 2.
right.
The information gathered will provide data and a recommendation to the district for what to do to mitigate ponds 1 and 3.
Right.
And how to design the future 3 ponds. So that we don't have this problem in 20 years.
Right.
Nothing? Okay, public comment on this item?
Yeah, comment on this. You gotta see a trend here, you see a theme in my conversation today. Talking about the sewer plant. How does a public member talk to the board, get feedback, or get feedback from the staff with everybody all in the same room? There seems to be a broken mechanism here. I can't talk to all 4 of you and have any of you answer me. Staff will not comment in this forum. What is the forum for, let's say I have a question about the sewer plant and what's going on there, and I want to find out your knowledge on the issue, and I want to have a conversation. But I also want to find out the knowledge that you have and have a conversation, and I'd love to know what the staff has to say. When does that conversation take place in our community?
People in this town have been wondering that question for a long time. They've always been told, just come down and ask and get an answer.
Well, yeah, but I have to ask
Then they
Kelly.
walk away and
I have
say-
to ask Kelly in his office privately, but I might want your input. And I might want to know what you have to say. And I might want to know what you have to say. But that forum cannot take place in this community. I don't see the mechanism here. Am I missing something? Is there a mechanism? If we wanted to talk about the sewer plant right now, and I wanted to say, the valve on pond number 3, what's up with that? We can't have that conversation. Or if I ask the question, is it safe for me to walk down there and go pay my sewer bill? And I ask Kelly, Kelly, if you identify something that's unsafe at the sewer plant, what is your response? Do you call Scott? Do you call the ambulance? Do you run out there and tell the public to get away from there? What? We can't have that conversation. So it's like, what's the point here? What am I missing, and how do we fix that? Because we're getting these fragmented conversations from the public. The board shakes their heads, thank you for commenting. The staff says, well, I can't say anything about that in this forum. And we're not having a dialogue. So if I wanted to talk about the sewer plant, and I wanted to ask a question, I can't ask you a question, I can't ask you a question because he's in the room, but I can't ask him a question because he won't answer, but I have to go to his office, but then you're not there.
No. Yeah.
So, attorney, how do we do that?
Thank you.
That's my question, is there a legal answer here? How how does the community have a dialogue with all board members and all staff members in the same room and have them comment? I'm done. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your comment.
Do you want me to respond to that?
Yes, we flipped it to you.
That is all about board protocol. There isn't a legal protocol for that. Typically, what public entities will do is if there's a particular items of interest, they will hold workshops. Workshops are a separate forum than your general meeting where you're trying to conduct business and getting necessary things done. You're looking for input from your public that everyone can be involved in without violating the Brown Act. Typically, you would want to hold a workshop on it so that it isn't taking up the time that's necessary to conduct the necessary public business at your meetings. So it's usually a special meeting, sometimes it's on a Saturday. It's just all depends on how your board wants to conduct their public interface. So you can't hold those discussions if you want to know all of the board members' input outside of a publicly noticed Brown Act meeting, because that would be a violation of the law. So it's either at these meetings here or at a workshop.
And since I have 30 seconds left, at a workshop, staff gets paid to be there, don't they? And the board members have to either donate their time, or if there's a mechanism for them to get a stipend, then they get paid to be there. So it costs the community money, plus people don't have necessarily the time to be at workshops. And I know staff is busy, they can't show up on a Saturday, or maybe don't want to. So basically you're telling me that we're broken as a world because of our laws, and we can't have these conversations. We can't have good governmental conversations with our people. I've sat in boards and...
It is to prevent secret decision-making. If you talk to each board member about what your concern is, and then each of them makes a decision based on a discussion with you, that's called a daisy chain, and they've been deliberating under the laws. Welcome to California. It's highly regulated and stops a lot of business.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
I'd like to ask a question on the back of the question. What if nobody in the room knows the answer to employee exposure at the sewer plant?
So just to be candid with you, the sewer plant is very highly regulated, and I can almost guarantee you that the water board does know what the level of exposure is to your employees, because they'd be shutting you down if there was a dangerous level of any exposure going on.
Well, I know, but we have employees working at our sewer plant that don't have the training and qualifications to be working at a sewer plant. So I would say that there could be possibly an OSHA situation should something happen.
You don't know that what you stated is true.
I don't know that it's true either, but I don't want to find out the hard way.
Any other public comment? All right. We have a motion. Anyone?
No?
I'll motion to approve. Second.
Okay, we'll have a roll call vote. Director Green?
Yes.
Director Davis?
Yes.
Director Beatty?
Yes.
Director Sangster?
Yes.
Passes 4-0 with one absent.
Okay, we'll move on to item number 3. Approve a not-to-exceed contract with Enviro for main switchboard electrical equipment in an amount not to exceed $68,160 for the Machado wastewater treatment facility, including necessary budget adjustment by resolution 2025-35.
So this is an item we brought back after the formal bid process for the switchboard and associated electrical equipment for the Machado wastewater treatment facility. As discussed previously, the switchgear is required for us to accept new service to the treatment plant in order to accept the service from the solar. In order to meet the timeline for solar, we have to order this in advance because this is a 35-ish week lead time for this particular item. And we need to ensure that we have this equipment and have this equipment installed before the deadline with the PG&E for an M2 status. Otherwise, we get an M3 status, and having solar at that point is kind of pointless for us. So we received two bids, one from Enviro for $68,160 and one from Telestar for $126,580. District engineer reviewed both the bids, and both bids were determined to be responsive to the advertisement for bids, and they have a recommendation that Enviro be awarded the contract based on the scope and the cost. Both parties have the equivalent equipment, both meet the specs and standards that we need for this equipment, so there is no benefit to paying more to Telestar. Telestar's bid did have some cost attributed to startup, which was not requested as part of this. This was an equipment only bid. So what's being recommended is that the board approve the attached resolution authorizing general manager to execute a contract with Enviro for equipment and services as specified within the advertisement for bid. And 2, issue a notice of contract award and a notice to proceed. And 3, authorize necessary budget adjustments for this project.
Funding coming from reserves, or where's the funding coming from?
So initially it'd be paid from our regular operating account. However, this is covered under our grant, so this will be funded once we have the construction funding.
Got it. Thank you. Other board comment, questions?
Yeah, if I understand this right, okay, because we had the lady from the company that's gonna put in the solar panels, right? So that, she said that was the worst. They're gonna take care of that, correct?
Take care of the solar?
Yeah.
They're building the solar.
Right. And this here is just for the main electrical to where you can use either PG&E or the solar, power from the solar.
So both PG&E and the solar are connecting to this switch.
Yeah, is there an itemized, as far as their bid goes, was there itemized, I'm trying to see if there was something included.
Getting out their bid. Their bid is included. The bid was actually requested as a lump sum. The bid advertisement for bid was not, or the bid spec was not included, I don't believe.
Was the startup explained that, or to
Telestar?
Yeah, Telestar, was it explained that we didn't need a startup?
Yes.
And we still included it?
Yes. And their equipment cost was still higher than Enviro.
And they're both, I mean, apples to apples, like, they're all, what their services that they're offering essentially.
Yeah, the equipment that they're providing is equivalent.
I thought I heard you earlier saying that Navarra included everything except for the startup.
Yes. Enviro is including all the equipment that was specified in the bid package.
And it'll be set there and everything.
So it'll come on a pallet and our contractor will install it.
Yeah. Is our contractor Enviro?
No. We don't have a
Okay,
contractor.
so
for that.
this is just for the equipment, right?
This is only for the equipment.
Okay.
Because we have to order the equipment so far in advance. This is only for equipment. There will be a separate bid item and bid package for the installation.
Okay.
Any other board comments or questions? Okay. Let it, Director Davis?
No.
Okay. Is there any public comments on this item? All right.
Only way I can communicate with anybody, whether anybody communicates that with me, and that's right. Correct me if I'm wrong, well, you can't correct me, but let me think I could be wrong, but I see there's a lot of contracting going on in the district. This is a contract, we talk about contracts a lot. Every time I come to a meeting, they're putting out a contract. I see that Kelly deals with contracts, and I'm assuming that he is the only person that deals with contracts at the C.S.D. If somebody wants to correct me, that's great, but my theme here is we seem to be one deep in that area, and that's the most important area at SMCSD right now is contracting. It seems like we do everything in contracting. Where's the oversight? When I did contracting for Fort Hunter Liggett, I had 3 people in the room that were my oversight. I had my boss, the boss's boss, and the boss's boss's boss. And then there was a whole group of people that were outside the area, the contracting officer that actually oversaw all that. We don't have any of that oversight. Is that a good thing? Or is that a bad thing? Are you getting the facts that you think you need to know? How would you know if you were getting the facts that you need to know? You're only getting it from one person. Kelly's a smart guy, I got it. I'm not going to say that you're not a smart guy, but maybe there's something that you might have missed. Is there anybody looking over his shoulder when he's calculating these documents or talking to these contractors or doing these job walks? And, are stuff said, is stuff done, is stuff seen? Who knows? Being part of a larger organization, the county or the state, gives us the opportunity to have that oversight. They have layers and layers and layers of oversight, and they've been doing this for decades. Something to think about. I hope you have a good luck with this contract.
Thank you. Any other public comment? All right, back to us. Heard a motion?
I'll motion to approve.
Second.
Motion on the floor by Director Beatty to approve Resolution 2025-35, second by Director Sangster. We'll have a roll call vote. Director Davis?
Yes.
Director Beatty?
Yes.
Director Green?
Yes.
Director Sangster?
Yes.
Passes 4-0, no absent. One absent, sorry.
Director Sangster, if I might just make a comment real quick regarding contracting. So, Mr. Campbell is correct. I am the last line before it comes to you guys. The only exception to that is if Scott is contracting something and he's the last line before it comes to you guys. However, at least on my side of it, we have our district engineer who generally puts most of this material together and has hundreds of people at their disposal to help put these things together. We have standardized most of our process so that the mundane things that are going to get missed don't get missed. But it is true that they put a lot of it together with my assistance. I review it all after the fact. Our attorney reviews it all after the fact. And before it comes to the board, for the board to make some sort of discussion or decision about what it is. So it's not that I'm one person out here in a one-man band doing it all myself. In my opinion, that's pretty much impossible. So there's a lot of eyes looking at these things. Do things get missed? Probably. Is that something that we try to avoid at all costs? Yes. But this is a very small district, and we can't pay a lot of people sitting here just doing contracts.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of eyes looking at these things before they come to the board, and the board always has the option to ask for more information if the board thinks that there's not enough available, which is 100% fine. So I just want to make that clear for everybody so that.
And we do ask for further information. We do kick things back from time to time. The board all sees it before there's any action taken on it. Not on the front side, to your point, when someone's doing a job walk or things like that. I guess fortunately or unfortunately for them, they have somebody who's a procurement manager who reviews things like contracts, RFPs, things like that. And there have been times when they brought contracts, honestly, that were ludicrous, that no one on earth should ever sign. If they, they had 2 contracts. One had like 130 terms and conditions, one had 20. And the pricing was almost the same. Well, why would you go with one that has 130 terms and conditions, which are very onerous and draconian in my opinion? So that was kicked back and we went with one with better terms. So all of that is reviewed by all of us up there. And, I'm not saying that I'm the last on the fence, but I do have some experience and expertise in professional experience in it, so I try to make sure that we're doing right by the community. With that said, we're adjourning to closed session. Is there any public comment items on the closed session?
I know, I was like,
Oh, well, there's a board comment. Oh.
no, there isn't.
It's a special meeting, so board comment is not.
Oh, well, good thing you guys got your things out of
We got 'em next week.
Huh?
See you next week.
I just had a question about the tree trimmers.
If you want to ask me while we're cleaning up for closed session, I'd be more than happy to talk about it.
No,
Any public comment on closed
Public
session?
comment for closed session items? No. All right.
Time?
7:03.
Still hot outside. Wait.
Yeah.